Hey, I'm Molly Sims.
And I'm Emese Gormley. We're two girls obsessed with one thing, beauty.
And by that, we mean everything that makes you look
And feel
beautiful.
We're calling on our favorite health experts, industry insiders, and friends to answer all your beauty questions.
With a drink in hand.
Definitely with a drink in hand.
You're listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims.
I mean, Emese, can you imagine a job where your career is to curate, shop, and travel?
I mean, hello, it sounds kind of like my dream job.
I mean, today's guest is literally living our dream. She's the visionary founder and editor-in-chief of Cultured magazine. No, that's right. It redefines the intersections of art, fashion, design, and architecture. She has 3 kids, lives in LA, and we want to be her. So here's what she does. Cultured has become a beacon for emerging voices in the creative community. It's an incredible magazine offering thought-provoking coverage that resonates both with industry veterans, new talents. With a rich career beginning as an intern at Elle and her own publishing company, White House Media Group, her art collection spotlighting emerging artists has garnered attention from outlets like the New York Times and ArtNet. We're going to be talking about what's hot now, what's hot in fashion, beauty, restaurants, travel. Sarah, we are so excited. Sarah Harrelson, the editor-in-chief of Cultured magazine. We cannot wait to pick your brain. I can't even tell you.
Thank you for having me, number one. Thank you for that very, very generous introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm not sure the shopping part of it is accurate. I'm not sure that's exactly part of my job.
Well,
I wish it were, but I'd like to add that in maybe.
Yeah. She's very good with trends, shall we say. Shopping trends, trends in general.
And whatever she's wearing is very chic. So she clearly shops for herself very well.
Thank you.
Chanel shoes, which I
saw them in the back.
I wore on another episode. Her great baggy jeans that are cuffed and a great black sweater. So we are so excited. You have an incredibly cool job. And before we get into curating and trend forecasting, how did you get this job?
Gosh. I mean, I guess this job I created, but I got into magazines. I was actually studying political science, and I really blame all the time. I blame Elizabeth Saltzman, who I'm sure you know, because she was dating my brother when I was in college. And my brother was in the fashion world, and I was kind of decidedly not, and really trying to have like a very different kind of career at that age. But that Elizabeth, she just got me.
You guys, Elizabeth Saltzman probably is one of the best stylists in the world.
She's so chic.
She's so chic.
Not that I even do remotely what she does or come close, but she was my gateway into seeing what the magazine world was. And it was such an incredible world. She would she would always jump in and to my apartment and come visit me when I was in college with my brother from the Red Eye, looking so glamorous. And I was really, as I now have kids in college, and you hear them talk about what they want to do so intently, and you realize you really don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And I was so trying to have this career in politics, and that was what I kept saying I want to do. And I didn't really know anyone else in the magazine world, but she was my gateway drug, basically. And now here we are.
What was that first
decades later?
Tell us what that first foray into fashion was for you.
I mean, I guess as you said, I was an intern at Elle, and just, I think kind of for me, I've always been, which is a little bit rare in the magazine world, is I've always been interested in all of it. Kind of I wasn't a writer, I wasn't a stylist, I was kind of the presentation of all of it together.
The curation of it all.
Yeah. Was what was the most intriguing to me. And so even being an intern at Elle, where I remember I was only allowed to sit when the intern ran to the bathroom because the phone couldn't go to voicemail, I was kind of watching all the parts and everybody kind of running around doing different things. And I was so intrigued by how in the end it all came together to be this one product. And so that's kind of how I navigated my career by moving to smaller markets. I became the editor-in-chief at a very young age of a very small magazine. But it gave me the opportunity to kind of put it all together, which is still the part that I love the most.
And to see how it all works.
Exactly. Because if you're an editor at a bigger magazine, you're kind of in charge of 12 pages or 10 pages or just the entertainment section or just the fashion section, which is great, but it was never really what drove me. I was interested a little bit in all of it.
And now you have your own company. You're the editor-in-chief and founder of Cultured, which is an incredible magazine. We're still in print.
We're still hanging on.
We're still hanging on. Is there anything you can achieve in print that digital platforms really can't?
I mean, I believe deeply there is. Like I'm a visual person. I am someone who consumes everything, plays, movies, and it's all different for me. And even The New Yorker, which I read all the time, and now I also listen to The New Yorker. We can listen to the articles. I mean, we can with many publications, but The New Yorkers are long, so I listen to them on a lot of my LA drives. I just think the application of reading about whatever it is or whomever it is while flipping a page, while looking at an image that was created just for that story, it's different. And I would argue not better. I mean, it's not a better or worse. It's just different.
I miss it. I miss print.
I used to remember.
We don't have to miss it. Still here.
It's still here. It is still here. And it's just, I think that the generation now, like the younger ones, don't get, like, I remember working in PR. Wednesdays was the day that all the magazines dropped at the store. And whether I was an intern or I was sending my interns, I remember that was the day you ran to get every magazine. And there was such a thrill in flipping through the pages. And I do think a little bit of that magic has kind of gone.
It's completely shifted.
It's completely
shifted.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually given room to more magazines like mine. If you go to the newsstands in New York City, there's hundreds of magazines packed and they sell out. We sell a lot of single issues off our website to young people. So I think there's just different ways to consume it. And I think, you've seen my magazine. It's big. It's like a book. It's different.
It's art.
It's art. Yeah.
It's
so I
art.
have people who collect the issues or say, I stack it, I have like a special place. So it's like, and there's a lot that goes into it. But I do think, people have been saying print is dead, I think for a decade. Like I don't know how long. I honestly can't remember how
Almost
long. But
a decade, right?
People have been
10
saying
years?
print is dead for a decade. I don't think it's dead. I think it's changed. And I think that it will continue to evolve. And it's never going to be what it was when, I think we're all about the same age, when we entered into it, when it meant so much. And frankly, we couldn't get this information anywhere else. Now you can get the information. I mean, even now when people say, oh, I want print, not digital, I kind of like it when people say that. But sometimes I'm like, well, most of the people don't actually know the difference if it's print or not.
I think it is actually given more room for publications like yours to stand out, because I think that what's happened is that people's standards of what they want in print, like, it's different, right? So I think that like fast, like you can get that on a social media page, right? Or digitally. But something that is as curated as what you do and is as thoughtful and put together, and to your point, almost like a piece of art, right? That stands out now in a different way than I don't think that it did before. I think in the past, those mass publications were where ad dollars went, where people spent their money. Now, I think it's actually allowed someone like you to kind of rise to the top.
I agree. And I also think there was that weird moment when it was like, okay, let's make magazines more like social media. And it was like, let's make them all short and quippy. And I think that didn't serve anybody. Mm-hmm. And what I've tried to do, and I sort of continue to try to do, is like, take me as far away from digital as you can.
Yeah.
Like we do, 20-page photo essays or, 30, like things that it's like a different experience. I'm not trying to emulate what you can get digitally because, of course, why would I? Or why would any of these magazines? And I think that's what is kind of a trend in independent publishing, is people are really just kind of leaning into what print is. And honestly, book sales are up. So it's like people are consuming books and magazines. And I mean, it's obviously...
Well, it's kind of just like what's happened. It's like, okay, you can go to the theater or you have streaming. You have the best, you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's different.
It's different. How do you navigate the constant emergence of new trends that go viral?
I mean, that's really hard.
Yeah.
I think it's we have our web meeting every week and we talk about, what will hit, what won't hit. And often we're surprised. I mean, there's obviously tried and true, but we don't, that's not the kind of journalism we do necessarily, where we're, we either celeb focused or something too trendy. We don't really cover that territory. But we've been surprised at what does well. But it is a hard thing to navigate. I mean, frankly, I think it's the most exciting thing to watch. But if you watch how quickly things cycle now, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I think that, I remember being on the PR side in the days where I sat in a CFDA meeting And I remember Stephen Kolb, Diane von Furstenberg, I'm sitting in there, and Michael Kors were kind of arguing back and forth. And it was really this pivotal moment that I remember so clearly because they were saying, we need to figure out the schedule of Fashion Week. Because what's happening is that we are showing collections that are going to be, out in stores 6 months later. Magazines take 3 months to print. And fast fashion is coming out now faster than anything. And it was this really interesting conversation. At the time, I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And it really was so fascinating because it was the cusp of when things really shifted. And, to have been a part, literally straddled kind of both sides of it, I think is so interesting because we have it's changed an entire industry.
Entirely.
Completely. It's forced the hand of designers to work differently, to present differently. And even, quite frankly, I said this the other day to somebody, editors who you used to be like, oh my God, I remember when Meredith Melling was at Vogue, right? Or you remembered the editors were celebrities, right? They were the tastemakers.
Of course.
And now it's influencers. The editors, you go to a show, it's not really about
it's more celebrities and VICs.
More celebrities and exactly.
Influencers. Yeah.
I know.
And it's crazy.
All right, what's hot now? We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down into fashion, beauty, art, home, decor, and travel. I'm so excited. What's hot now?
You're really putting me on the spot.
I know, in
here.
fashion.
Well, I think for me, I'm not someone who follows so much personally trends in fashion, but I always love I love emerging designers. I just went to the Academy Gala on Saturday and I wore Tanner Fletcher, an amazing young Brooklyn-based brand that is just irreverent and stylish, and so I loved that. I'm not afraid to. J. Crew is back.
J. Crew's back.
J. Crew is back, and I love it. And they just did a collaboration with Christopher John Rogers, who's a designer who I love, who actually wore the Academy Gala 2 years ago, and someone that we covered probably 5 years ago. I can't remember when he won the CFDA. I can't remember when he won, but I'm really interested in seeing that collaboration. I think simplicity and elegance. I'm kind of I love Alaya.
Mm-hmm.
I love Alaya. Bottega, Prada. I'm always a little bit classic, I guess I would say.
And Alaya is back big time.
Alaya is so...
And so's Prada, by the way. Prada is back.
I literally wear
Prada,
those three brands.
I've gotten really into Prada right now.
I'm really into Prada.
I think that they are really...
You have the gold
back.
shoes, the velvet shoes.
The shoes are so good. I have the
are
pants that I wore. I was just in Paris for Art Basel. I think I wore them every other day. And I love their knits. Just they're simple. Their knits are unbelievable. So I love
she always
looking
has
at
good quality.
Look, Bodhi's a great designer. Emily's really been able to become such an important part of the fashion scene. I love watching. I think the reason I'm interested in trends or emerging is I kind of love that moment, watching people break through to the other side, and that energy around that moment, whether it's fashion or art or beauty or design, is I think it's so infectious and exciting to me. And I always am looking and studying and reading, but maybe not always wearing. And I have tons of brands that I love that just look horrible on me. You know what I mean? That I buy for my daughters or something like that. But so I can appreciate things without buying them. But when it comes to me, I'm fairly classic.
I saw something the other day that actually really resonated, and I think you'll agree. It was about trends and how, look at trends as the daily specials, right? You're at the restaurant, you know what you like to order every single time, but once in a while you'll sneak in a daily special. And that daily special can eventually become a part of your repertoire. And I think that's something with trends. When you immediately gravitate towards a trend just because it's a trend, that's not style. But when you take a trend and maybe over time work it into how you dress, that's maybe a way to work with trends.
I think it's always interesting to wear something that people can't place.
Yeah.
There's a designer out of England, Standing Ground is a designer I love. They make most beautiful, evening wear. I think, fashion magazines has changed a lot, and all of these careers, in my opinion, mirror artists or magazines where it's that beginning is the first couple years is so precarious, and press matters, and who buys you matters, and all of those things. And so, I think it's just like such an exciting like moment to watch. And I guess right now I would say Tanner Fletcher. I met them when I was in New York during Fashion Week, and I'm excited about them.
What trends do you predict for 2025?
That's a hard question.
I don't
I'm
think
not quite
90.
sure.
I think 90s is not going anywhere.
I think 90s isn't going anywhere. I think simplicity is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I
oversized.
think oversized. I think, I can't keep up with like, high waist, low waist. I just always wear high waist.
Yeah. I went to Paris and I did a few of the shows in New York. I think a lot of pastels.
Yeah.
So you're going to have like your pale pinks, your pale yellows, your pale greens.
I went to the shows too, yeah.
Crocheted.
I love the crochet trend.
Kate,
yes.
Stella.
Yes.
So like your thick knotted crocheted.
Yes. So good.
The sheer is back. So your sheerness.
I mean, sheer's back, but sheer's been playing with us.
Yeah.
It's
It's been playing with us, but
it's
sheer
it's
is
really back.
It's really
but it's,
back.
and
I love the sheer
Yeah.
on sheer on sheer.
I love it.
So Kate did a really good job with that.
Yep.
The color white. I saw a lot of beautiful white, crisp.
I love white all year.
I love white all
I
year.
love white all year. I love a winter white.
I love a white turtleneck. Yeah, like
I love a
crisp
white turtleneck. Yep. I love a black turtleneck.
And I think, again, simplicity, modern. I think we're going away from like the puffy sleeve and, the frilly. And I'm like
less feminine.
less feminine.
Yeah. A little bit more, I think, women kind of, a little power dressing, a little, I love a strong shoulder.
Yeah.
I love a suit.
I love a suit. I think suits are coming back.
I have a question for you. And this is like an argument I've had with like multiple friends in the past. I feel like the it bag kind of died.
I agree.
And it doesn't really exist anymore. I think there's bags that are like, oh, everybody kind of wants it because it's a designer. But like, do you remember the days when it was like you had to have the Fendi baguette, or then you had to have, the Miu Miu had like that one bag.
I
There was
remember it to
always
the point.
the Paddington by Chloe, like you had to have it. That lock weighed 10 pounds, and I carried
That
it.
lock was so heavy.
I think if people are arguing with you, it's because they don't remember. Because
you.
the truth is, I remember. So I remember going to like a thing at my kids' school when they were very little, and I remember that people put their bags on a pew, and I remember there were 25 of the Phoebe Celine bags, lined up.
Yes.
Love.
And these
Everybody.
were all different kinds of women.
Yeah.
And every single person had
No
a bag.
personality.
It's like I always explain to my kids, there used to be this time where you would go walk up and down an airplane aisle and everyone would be reading the same book.
I know.
And they can't, there's so many things going on at the same time.
There's so many
But it
more
doesn't
brands.
exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. There's several
I still
it
think
bags.
several
There's
bags.
several
I
it
think
bags.
There's not
still
an
like
it
the it
bag,
bag.
though.
But there's not one.
There's
Where
not
there used to
one.
be one, but that
There-
goes to kind of the, proliferation of media. And
Totally.
yeah.
Like I just feel like there was a time where there was one bag everybody coveted, and it was that one bag, and it was whether it was the Marc Jacobs. Remember the one that had the pockets on it? I can't remember the name of it.
I might still have it.
Like I had it in green.
Yeah.
I remember like it was, and that doesn't exist anymore. And I don't know why, right? Like, but I don't know that we're going back to that.
I think there's like
There's
7
10.
it bags,
Yeah.
7 to 10 it bags at any given time. And then obviously, any Hermes bag is an it bag.
Always an it
forever.
bag.
Always in a it bag. Okay, beauty.
Okay, beauty, I'm going to let you down. I'm going to let you down
No,
on
you're
beauty.
not.
But I did consult my beauty contributor, Emily Dougherty, and she said that all of her friends are going crazy for the newly released Celine red lipstick. She said it is the perfect shade of red. It is just out. They released one shade, which I always think is very cool. Celine lipstick. I'm going to try it.
I love Celine. I love their perfume. Black tie is amazing.
And Parade. I like Parade.
And Parade.
And I think for beauty, I always love Tata Harper. I love the way her products smell. I love her approach to beauty. I love everything about like her packaging, her everything. I'm like full all in to Tata. And I'm always like a Portrait of a Lady, Frederic Malle.
Love Frederic
Oh,
Malle.
But
you
beauty,
used to wear that a long time ago. I remember that.
I still, I know, I'm always trying to like change, but I still wear it.
Any underground beauty secrets you can share that you've done or you want to do?
I think mental clarity and rest, like
Always.
I
How you feel on the inside is how you look on the
I find
outside.
at this age, like you can wake up and be like, It's all good.
I
Look
know.
okay. And then like if a few things go wrong or you're really tired, you can wake up and be like, oh my God.
What is happening?
What happened? So I'm looking for some more beauty underground.
What's your
secrets. I mean,
foundation? It's pretty.
thank you. I use a light, the really watery kind of Chanel foundation. I love that.
I love that one.
I've
The
always
one in the
loved Bobbi
round
Brown.
or the square?
Square.
Yeah, that's the very
Lay
sheer
beige,
one.
right?
The
Le
Lay
Beige.
Beige
And I
Water
use their
Fresh
bronzers. The Chanel bronzers.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't.
It's the
It's the best.
cream one?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have to say, my girls are really good with makeup. And so I'm like constantly consulting them. But the other thing I do think, speaking of the early days, is remember, no one wore makeup. Like when I entered into the fashion world,
Yeah.
those famous editors wore no makeup.
Yeah.
So I'm always like at that ideal. Like I would
Yeah.
say like at a normal day in the office, I wear no makeup. Literally, maybe a little blush and lip gloss. I don't wear makeup.
Yeah.
So I don't have any underground makeup secrets, but I do think the best advice I've been given, I'm not sure I've adhered to it, but it's just like do a little bit often.
Yeah.
Whatever that little bit is, like facials, lasers, Botox, filler, I have no idea what anyone wants to do or not. But I'm just saying, like, I think that's a great
Consistency.
tip, but it's hard to find.
I think that's what everybody has learned. It's like you can't wait till you're 65 to do the one facelift, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And now you do have fantastic jewelry on. Talk to us a little
Thank
bit about that.
I mean, I think
Here's your ear cuff.
Yeah.
Anita Co.
It is the thick one?
Yeah,
I'm
And what
getting
about
that.
your bracelet, that chain link?
that's Chanel. Or no,
Beautiful.
this is Tiffany, sorry.
Beautiful.
This is Tiffany, and this is Chanel. I love an ear cuff.
I love an ear cuff.
I love an ear cuff. The earrings are Bottega. You know, I think because I dress so simply, jewelry's always been important to me. And often, since I travel so much too and go into meetings, I always feel like I need to have jewelry that I just don't take off.
Yeah.
Although this ring is, this is the Balenciaga ring they gave to everyone who went to the show.
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
it's like $7. But I put it on and I was just
Like, it looks good. What else?
Home and decor.
Home and decor. What's
gosh,
hot
well,
in
my
art
husband's a
and home?
designer and he's fully anti-trend. He is a classicist and hates trends. But, I don't know. I think it's design a little bit like art, and maybe like fashion is we've gotten to this place where there's these like key markers or these key things that like people feel they should have. Anything like that, I'm against.
Mm-hmm.
My friend did a movie on the art world called The Price of Everything several years ago. And they were interviewing someone who had worked in like a fancy Upper East Side building but didn't know the art world. And she said something like, oh yeah, every apartment that I work in has the same exact art. And like art and design sometimes can do that where people, it's like the opposite of the positivity of a knit bag, I guess, where it's like, you go into someone's house and you're like, okay, they have, the whatever those things are. So to me, I would say design, like art collecting, the ones that I like the most are when you go to someone's house and you're like, oh my God, there's that beautiful Ansem Kiefer that I love. What's that next to it? And they're like, I got that at a flea market. Or just something that shows personality.
Yeah.
I love all of these things. I love some of the most, like the famous chairs and the side tables and everything. I just hate when things look the same.
Yeah.
I know,
And
me
people
too.
use the same marble and then they use the same, like I blame Instagram, I guess. I don't know, Instagram and like lack of innovation. But like, I just always want to go against trend on basically all of it.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to see that again. I mean, it's kind of like the early world of interiors, back to magazines. Like people who aren't looking at Instagram every single day or looking at certain people, an influencer to figure out what they should pick for their kitchen hardware or their bathroom tub.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that we can have that information all the time, but I think it's like, I don't know, I'm always trying to find something that like not everybody else has.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's gotten harder to do. But we're shooting a house, actually next year, I'm launching a standalone interiors magazine, just one issue for the year. And we're shooting all these really amazing houses. And I'm shooting one next week in LA that I went to. And I said, oh my God, you have to let me shoot your house. Your house is amazing. He said, why would you want to shoot my house? Like art storage with a kitchen. I'm like, it's the most beautiful house in the world, of course. But I'm like, that's exactly what I want. Like so much personality in these houses because we've all been to beautiful houses with beautiful things. And I love that too. It's just not necessarily, like I've seen a lot of it at this point. Yeah. So I like anything that like, I'm like, I want to learn. Like, and that's kind of why I started the magazine. Like I want to learn. I want to walk into someone's house and be like, oh my God, I have no idea who that artist is. Where did you get them?
Yeah. Not be cliche.
Yeah. Or just predictable.
Yeah.
Predictable. I don't love predictable.
No.
I remember when we went through the John Robshaw,
he's a legend.
Legend.
He's
but
a
then
legend.
I'm like, if I see boho, I want to like vomit.
But he invented it at least.
But he invented it, and I crushed it there for a while.
Yeah.
With all my pillows.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
He still has a great store in New York.
But see, I kind of like now, I don't know. Part of me is like, I swing.
Everybody swings. I swing too.
I go back to layered. I go back to minimal. Take every cushion off. And
you go minimal?
I can go minimal. I built a house on the East Coast that is more definitely pared back for me. But I love it. Like it's not a crazy amount of furniture, but the way it's built is beautiful.
Modern.
It's, I would say, more modern. Yeah.
That's nice. And you can have like, you can like see what.
Well, I can also, well, that's the thing. Like if you build it minimal, you can always lean in and, I don't know.
She has a very natural instinct with interiors. Like I always say, if she didn't do what she had done in her career, she would have been an amazing interior designer.
So do you do
I
your
can
own
crush
houses?
a coffee table.
You can?
Yeah.
Like all the styling and.
I'm good. Our girlfriend Mimi is really good at it. I designed my office.
And you love doing it?
No.
You love furniture.
I do love, I've never met a couch I didn't like, but I wouldn't do it as a business.
It's a hard business.
I can do it for other people quickly, but like, no, you would never put that together. Travel.
I travel a lot.
I know.
That was accurate. I think I've been to Paris twice.
What's your go-to spots in Paris?
Oh my God. Well, lately I've been going to Chateau Voltaire a lot. I stayed at the Madame Rev. Have you stayed there yet?
No.
It opened
what is
a couple years ago. It's by the Louvre. It's on Rue de Louvre. I love it.
Madame what?
Madame Rev.
And Chateau Voltaire.
In Chateau Voltaire's, I went for lunch like 3 times. All the I don't know everything just looks better in Paris.
It does.
It's just like all the like I go see an artist that I've seen 100 shows for in every other city, and somehow in Paris the show just looks better than it's ever looked. So those are my recent go-tos. I mean, I love the Picasso Museum. They had an amazing Paula Krasner show that I went to, and I was thinking about it that I actually liked the museum even pre-renovation. I remember going really young. You remember it was such a small museum.
Mm-hmm.
There's another small museum that's like a natural history museum that is the most incredible museum in
Musée
Paris.
d'Orsay.
Of course, all the amazing.
And even the Louvre going back. We were supposed to go, my husband and I. We went in September, but I was going through some stuff and like it just was really tired, but I didn't get there. It was a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, I went for the Louis Vuitton show, but I didn't go another time. But I mean, it was great. I think, Rome's having a moment. A lot of galleries are moving to Rome. A lot of people are moving there.
This is why you got to buy Cultured Magazine to know all this stuff.
What else are my go-tos? I mean, I am obsessed with like one trend I do get obsessed with is like the latest restaurant. I always want to go to the latest restaurant. And I don't know why, because it's like doesn't fit my personality. And the other thing is I'm vegetarian since I was like a child, but I will go to any restaurant. Like if it's a steakhouse and it's like new and trendy, I want to go. Like I don't care. I'll have like mashed potatoes. Like I don't care. Like I'm like, and then sometimes my kids will be like, why do you want to go there? And I'm like, I don't really care about the food.
What do you love in Paris? Where do you like to go?
Where else?
Chateau Voltaire.
Chateau Voltaire was great. I went there a couple times.
Lulu's is good.
I went to Lulu's for
Sienna's.
I went to Lulu's for
Sienna's.
like a 4-hour lunch, which was just dreadful, but so good. The pasta there, what do they put in that pasta?
Know. Crack.
They put crack in that pasta.
It's so
I had like
good.
I was like waiting until I could actually like complete the plate. And of course, somehow I drink at lunch in Paris too. Like I like have to drink when I'm there. I'm not quite sure why.
But you don't have a hangover.
No, of course not. But I honestly can't even remember. And as you know, when you're there, so many times you're on someone else's kind of schedule, running around to other people's things.
It is good shopping. Rue Saint-Honoré, you cannot beat that street.
And also now it's smart to shop there.
I know.
I bought this there.
What is that? It's
super.
beautiful. Oh, it's
Bottega.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But like, it's just smarter. Like, if we're smart women, we should
We're
shop
smart.
there.
What we should do is
It's
just
so easy to
justify
get
the girl math is
The
very
girl math is in our
logical.
favor. And have you gotten the tax refund at
Of
the
course.
but do you remember it used to be hard?
No,
Now
now
it's
it,
Now
easy.
it's like they make that. I'm just like, I feel pressure to actually buy more when I'm there.
but
what my
I always
manager
say like
said.
we're
Yeah.
like saving money, making
But we're saving
money.
like 40% or something.
Where do you like to go to eat in New York?
I like a wide range. I love Rafts. It's small. I love Superiority Burger. Have you ever been there?
What's it called?
Superiority Burger.
No.
It is all plant-based, and it's like it's in the East Village, very cool. I also still love Polo Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a polo bar.
I love Corner Store. Have you been there yet?
I haven't been to
It's
Corner Store
so
yet, but
good.
speaking of Instagram, it's filling up my feed.
It
Every
is
single
so
person is
good.
there. Yes, I like Corner Bar. I like
Yeah.
9 Orchard. I love their bar. I love Scar's Pizza on Orchard.
Yeah.
I think it's on Orchard.
I just
Lower
passed it
East
the other
Side.
day. Yeah.
A long line. You have
Yeah.
to butter them up in the line. But then I feel like you've kind of worked for it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love pizza.
What about LA?
LA, I find a little bit harder.
Do you think?
I had great sushi last night. I went to this place called Brothers in Santa Monica. It was fantastic.
I mean, in a pinch, I go to John and Vinny's.
Love John and Vinny's.
They just are opening in Miami, which is
I heard
exciting
that.
for them. Where else do I go in LA?
Sunset Tower. San
Sunset
Vicente
Tower,
Bungalows.
San Vicente
They're opening
Bungalows.
on the east
And
on the
they're
west
opening
side.
in New York.
They're opening at the Jane Hotel in
That
New
would
York.
be great.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Medeo, Sunset.
I know more. I'm just can't think right now
We
at
like
this very
Angelini.
moment.
I love Angelini.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now they're in west of LA and also in Hollywood.
What else do we
is
have?
good?
Is it Etra that just opened? That's
I don't know.
I'm an East Coast girl, so I don't know.
so. How long have you been in LA?
I don't live in LA.
Ask the question.
I live in New Jersey,
Where?
Summit.
I'm from Rumson.
Oh,
We love Rumson.
You gotta like you a Jersey girl.
We should all go to Paris together. I'm just saying this.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah, you're gonna have 2 plus 2s. Not plus 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus 2s.
Well,
I love Rumson. Rumson's beautiful.
Do you get the New Jersey stigma? Something else that I love getting.
I feel like, and I wasn't born there. I've only lived there for 4
I was
years.
born there.
I'm like New Jersey pride.
Yeah, New Jersey pride. By the way, everywhere I'm actually surprised I didn't suss it out because I can be in a line. Also, I talk to people in the airport a lot, and I can be in a line and start talking to someone, and I just know they're from where I'm from. I can always tell.
I know, but I'm not really an OG yet.
But just my last point on New Jersey is speaking up, I love meeting people, and they'll be like, "Where are you from?" And I'll be like, "New Jersey," and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I just learned so much about you.
Yeah.
And they actually not, and I hate when people have those
A
judging-
stigma.
a stigma.
It's
and
a beautiful state.
Summit's gorgeous. I've been to Summit many
yeah.
times. Rumson, I'm glad I don't live in Rumson, and I actually think part of what I do is a rejection of the kind of kind of homogenous nature
Yeah.
of what Rumson was when I grew up there.
Yeah.
I can't even speak to what it is today. I
Yeah.
haven't lived there since I was 18, but it is beautiful. No matter what you say about it, it is
Beautiful.
Living on a beach, basically.
I love
grew up in-
Summit.
yeah.
I mean, they're
But you will
honorary
catch
Jersey.
the stigma.
I'm
You will
honorary
catch
Jersey.
She's an honorary Jersey
You're
girl.
honorary Jersey.
She was just with me a few weeks ago.
Yeah, little Tinton Falls, little Summit,
yeah.
New Jersey. I love
Of
it.
course, Colt's Neck.
Colt's Neck.
Yeah, I know all.
Little
I know them
Wawas,
all.
let me tell you.
Yeah, Wawas, exactly.
You travel so much. Do you have any weird packing tips or anything that you do when you travel?
Okay, so the only other travel tip I had, and this is not answering your question, but I must plug Estelle Manor because you must go there. It is absolutely
Manor, where is that?
stunning.
Where
is
It's
that?
in the Cotswolds or Oxfordshire outside
Okay.
of London. And I went last year between the 2 art fairs, and it's incredible. My packing tips are I pack extremely light.
You do? Oh
Always
my
a
God.
carry-on. I went to Africa on a carry-on. I've gone to Europe for 3 weeks in a carry-on and made my children do the same.
How old are your kids now?
19, 21, and 23.
Look amazing.
Thank you. And
Probably because they're out of college. Probably because they're out of high school.
yeah, exactly. No, literally because they're out of high school. But anyway, I just really I just go so pared down, 3 colors, and then if I have to do
So like a jean, a black pant, something leather, sweater, trench.
And then if you have
blazer.
if you have to clean at the hotel, you clean at the hotel. But I just sometimes I do underpack a little bit, but there's really nothing that I'm ever
Then
like.
you can buy it.
You can buy it as long as I'm going to a city that I'm like I can buy it. Then I just don't worry. I just don't worry. And I really live between LA and New York. So like whenever I really want something.
Where do you live
here,
in LA?
In LA, I live Mulholland and Coldwater, like Beverly Hills.
Love.
And then if I really need something, it's like just inevitably in the other city.
Yeah.
So I just kind of let it go a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think packing's quite difficult. I think I've made some big mistakes, I'm sure.
You overpack.
I overpack 100%, but I do
pack yourself?
Yes, and I pack in outfits. Like I always
I do everything in outfits.
A little rapid fire.
Okay, I'm ready.
A little rapid fire. I might know this answer. Gold or silver jewelry?
Gold.
Beach vacation or city escape?
City escape.
Morning or night?
Morning.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Next country you want to travel to?
Africa.
Text, call, FaceTime?
Text.
Biggest pet peeve?
Laziness.
Favorite cocktail?
Orange wine.
Favorite place to travel?
Europe. Africa.
Unpopular opinion?
Hard work pays off.
Next 3 countries you want to travel to?
I want to go back to Morocco. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to go to more Italy in my rotation.
Are you salty or sweet?
Salty.
You cook dinner or order in?
My husband cooks.
Oh, look. Designer and chef.
Designer
They're
and
married well.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Most used emoji?
Heart.
Aw.
Or confused face.
I like my new favorite is the one with the squiggly eyes, the one that's like looks like they're like out of sorts.
I
like
love that
that's
one.
my like
On the struggle bus?
I'm always like
Always on the struggle bus.
send that, it's like send help.
Yeah, exactly.
If you, Sarah, could give your 10-year-old self a little bit of advice, what would it be?
Trust the process. Be a little nicer.
I love that so many people are trying to figure it out, right? Like you have managed to do so many things, right? You are a true editor and I love it.
You have a really kind confidence about you, which I think is so
New Jersey.
nice. New Jersey. See, there you go.
There we go. Make sure and follow Sarah Harrelson. You guys have to get Cultured Magazine.
Collect it.
Collect it. Her Instagram handle is at Sarah G. Harrelson, HARRELSON. We're going to put all this in the show notes. If you follow Lipstick on the Rim on our Instagram, we'll have Sarah's go-tos, but also culturedmagazine.com. It's www.culturemag.com, or you can find it on your local newsstand or bookstore. You're amazing. We want to travel with you.
I know.
We want to
go to Paris with you?
Absolutely.
By the way, we should.
Yes, I know.
I mean,
yes,
4 days
February.
we would crush.
You're
amazing. Thank
you so much.
We love you guys. We will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims and my ride or die, Emese Gormley. We are so excited to bring you guys along on this journey with us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Lipstick on the Rim and at Molly B. Sims. Or you can go to my blog where you can dive just a little bit deeper into my favorite products, trends, and more at mollysims.substack.com. And don't forget to check out our video episodes on my YouTube channel, Molly Sims. This podcast is a production with Sony Music. I wanted to give a special thanks to my team, Rosie Cummings, Kenna Ryan, Safine Kevorkian, and everyone at Sony Music. Don't forget to listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on the fun.